guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a budget with me video. I do apologize for all of the dog noises that you're probably going to hear in the background, at least for the first part of this video. I am home by myself right now. So anyway, I am in my beauty room. It's not really a beauty room, it's actually a guest bedroom with a vanity in it. I'm actually sitting opposite of the vanity right now. It sits directly behind this camera and I use this window for natural lighting. So I tried to get as little as possible in this little frame. However, you still can see the bedpost in the frame, and we had begun to paint this wall over here, so you might see a little bit of white on that wall. But this is our setup for now. So one of my favorite videos here to do on my channel would be my budgeting videos or my debt videos. So far the only videos that I have up right now are a couple of budgeting videos and my debt diary series. I do plan on starting that one back up. I'm planning on doing a debt diary update for you guys pretty soon. I don't think I'm going to go into as much detail with it as far as like a monthly video as I did before. It depends on how things go. But after the update video, I do want to come back and give you maybe more updates throughout our journey, but I don't know if I'll sit down and do a monthly video anymore. So for this video, I had this idea in mind a little while back and never got a chance to do it. Today is July the 2nd, so the new month is beginning, and I'm actually having to sit down, obviously, and plan a budget for the month. We get paid at the first of the month. Most of our money comes in at the first of the month, so I usually try to complete our budget within the first few days of the month, or just before the first of the month gets here. So because I had to sit down and do our budget, I just wanted to film it so that you guys can see the process, and I thought this like budget with me idea would be kind of cool. If we make any changes to our budget throughout the month, which we always do, I want to come back and also do those on camera as well so that you can kind of see our process throughout the month. First things first, we're going to need all of our supplies. And for me, that is our budgeting book, a calculator, and a notepad for scratch paper, and a pen, obviously. And then we're just going to go ahead and get started. Initially, when we get paid for the month, I actually get paid at the end of the month. So my paycheck is here before the first day of the new month. So I haven't really taken a look at when it dropped exactly, but I know that it came in 2 or 3 days ago. And that's the way that it happens every single month. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Dear, I was in the middle of a sentence. I don't even know what I was saying. So my husband and I are in a bad habit of getting paid and then actually spending a little bit out of that paycheck before we sit down to look over our bills. So I just want to let you know that we have already done that. That happens every single month. So if that is something that you do as well, then you and I will be on the exact same page, and you can probably follow along with this budget just perfectly. So we haven't actually sat down to look at what is in our account right now. So when I'm going to pull it up on my phone. That is going to be the first time that I'm looking at it, and I will kind of walk you through all of the steps that I go through to budget our money and to pay our bills. I have already taken the time to fill out all of the bills that are due for the month of July. The only bill that we have not received yet is an electric bill, which actually isn't for our house, it's for another house that my husband and I are working on. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up our bank account and see how much money we have in there to work off of. Okay, so I'm in our online bank account and I see the number that we have, like the actual dollar amount we have in the account. And what I'm going to do first is scroll through and see what my paycheck was, because I haven't looked at it yet, and to see if I got paid for my other job. I work a part-time job and their payment schedule just changed, and they're actually going to go from paying us monthly to twice a month. So I think that will throw us off for the month of August, at least the beginning of August. And then once that month passes, we'll get back on track. But I see here that I did get paid for the month of June, and I couldn't remember which month that went into effect. And these are good paychecks to work off of. These paychecks that I did get paid are actually pretty average for me. So we're already not ahead of the game, but we're definitely not going to be behind just yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down the number of the amount that is in our account, which equals $2,769.31. That is a combination of my 2 paychecks and a little bit of money that we had left over in the account at the end of this past month, which was June. We have a few bills that come out just the last few days of the month, so I have to make sure that those are actually drafted out of the account and make sure that they are accounted for. So that's what I'm going to do first.
Yes, dear.
Did you notice that the homeowner's insurance came out on the 29th for $97.21?
No, I'm not.
Isn't our bill due on the 1st or the 2nd?
I don't remember.
See, they took out $182.54 for the month of June on the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our June payment.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're taking it out again at the end of June. That's not the due date.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And then a Hulu charged $8.71 instead of $7.99.
I guess they went up.
So I'm not seeing one of the bills that comes out at the last of the month, and that's why I always double check. We have an AT&T bill that's due on like the 28th of each month, and it doesn't actually physically come out of our account until after the first couple of days of the new month. And I'm not seeing that one has come out, so I'm going to account for that. Our Hulu bill has gone up from $7.99 to $8.71, and we are currently paying a homeowner's insurance that we were billed twice for during the month of June, and we're not supposed to make a second payment on that until the 1st of July. So I'm going to go ahead and account for that bill to come out, because I don't know if there's been a mistake or if for some reason we got charged a second time for a reason I'm unaware of. But all I can do right now is budget for the upcoming bill that we think is supposed to come out at the 1st of July, because we definitely don't want to go into negative in our account. So now that we know what to subtract, we are going to start with the one bill that was left over from June, which is a $57 AT&T bill, and then we're going to go ahead and subtract the rest of the bills that are due right now. And the reason we're only going to subtract the ones that are due right now is because we do not have enough money in our account to subtract bills for the entire month. I do wish that it did work out that way, or that it would work out that way, but it doesn't. Unless we were to actually hold a check back for ourselves purposefully just to make that work, but we haven't done that. What I typically do is I take what we get paid, or what I get paid, because I'm the only one that gets paid at the 1st of the month. My husband gets paid every 2 weeks. Since he is getting paid on Friday, what I'll generally do is estimate what his paycheck is going to be and add it in with the amount that is in our account, and use that as my actual income total. And then I will begin subtracting our bills. So I'm going to estimate what his paycheck would be, and I'm going to add that into the number that we have in our account right now, and I'll let you know what that number is in just a second. So that total is going to be $3869.31, and our next paycheck after the 6th will not be here until the 20th. So what I need to do with this $3,000 is pay all of our bills that are due between the 1st and the 20th, and that has to also include living expenses. Okay, so what I've come up with is we have an amount left over of $1,131.07. That is about all that we would need to cover our personal living expenses for the entire month. I actually have a budget calculated for exactly $1,081, and I'll go through that with you in just a few minutes, probably more towards the end of the video. Preferably, I do like to keep that in our account from the beginning of the month so that we have our living expenses covered. We don't have to worry about gas money or grocery money or anything like that. And then as our paychecks come in towards the end of the month, we can just take those and pay bills with them. We have, let's see, a couple of bills due between the 16th and the 20th that we can put off paying just for a few days simply because of the grace period. I think I'm going to hold off on paying those until the 20th. But the next thing that I do need to do, and I always do this just to double check, is I will go ahead and estimate the amount of money that we're expected to make at the end of the month, which we would only have 2 more paychecks coming in. That is his paycheck for work, because he gets paid twice a month, well, every 2 weeks. And then the other check would be like our rent check from a rental property that we have. So I would take the combination of those 2 checks and then subtract our last few bills out of it, just to make sure we do absolutely have the amount of money that we do need to cover that. And then if for some reason we don't, then I'll go back to this $1,000 and take from it. And that just means that we would simply do without throughout the month. That may mean that we have a little bit less grocery money, a little bit less shopping money, anything like that. But definitely paying our bills is our priority, so we are willing to go without if we have to in order to make sure the bills are paid. Now that is where our credit card use comes in, and that is where we fail sometimes, because if we don't have enough money to cover our personal living expenses throughout the month, we are in the bad habit of using a credit card to cover those expenses, and that is part of the reason, that is where part of our debt comes from, obviously. So that is something that we need to work on personally, but generally speaking, ideally we would want to take from that amount of money, which would be the $1,000, and simply just do without if we have to. And I'm going to go ahead and total up our estimated income for the end of the month and subtract our remaining bills from that. And the estimated income for the end of the month would be $22,4750. And then I'm going to subtract the remaining bills from that. So after I calculate that, that is actually going to leave us with $878.44. Typically we are not left over with that much at the end of the month. For some reason, one of the credit cards that we pay on monthly is not showing a minimum payment due this month. I don't know if that's going to change or not, but since it is still saying that a 0 amount is due, I did not account for that this month. And therefore that is giving us back a couple of $100 more than I had estimated us having. The next thing that I do, which is very, very important, is I go back and I calculate all of this a second time and then usually a third time, just to make sure that it is absolutely correct and that I'm not miscalculating. And so that is what I'm going to do right now, and I'll let you know if I still come up with the same numbers. So I have gone through a second time and calculated again, and I'm still getting the same numbers. I'm still getting a leftover amount of $1,131 for the first half of the month, and a leftover amount of $878 for the second half of the month. So those are really good numbers for us. Generally, sometimes our budget is a lot tighter, and that may be because we spend a lot of money a little bit more carelessly. And that is the reason that I love doing our budget so much, is because we're actually spending money on purpose. We're actually making a plan for our money. So typically what I do at this point is I go and get my husband and I show him what I've come up with, and I will even have him calculate it and look at it and make sure I'm not forgetting anything, make sure I'm calculating it correctly. And at that point we will kind of discuss what we want to do with our leftover money. We're kind of pulled in 2 directions right now. We want to save money at the same time that we want to pay off debt. The loan that I want to get started on first would be my medical expenses. Since I just had a baby in December, we owe a little over $4,000 worth of medical bills, and I wanted to pay that off first simply because it is the smallest debt that we have. It also is a $200 monthly payment, so we would be able to save an extra $200 a month. I am still planning on going ahead and making my $200 minimum payment each month, in addition to any extra money we can put on it. So to use the example of $500, if we were able to have $500 left over in our budget each month to put towards debt, and we did start working on the medical bills first, that would be a total of $700 a month going on that specific loan. And I already calculated the number of months that it would take for us to pay that off, and I think it was somewhere between 6 and 7, maybe 8 months at the most, which is really exciting to think that you can have that much money paid off in 6 months. So looking at things like that and looking at things as far as what it's going to look like to have things paid off in the future, that is what motivates me to put money towards debt. If I'm not really making plans for our financial future, then I'm not really seeing the bigger picture and I'm not motivated to pay anything off. I actually have to kind of sit down and calculate what it's going to look like if we have some money left over to pay on debt, and then once that debt is gone, what our new budget is going to look like. And when I see more and more money coming in instead of going out, that's what really excites me and motivates me to keep paying off debt. So I finally had some time a couple weeks ago, and I sat down for like 2 to 3 hours and just really looked at our bills, tried to figure out where we could make any additional sacrifices as far as cutting things loose like internet or something like that, and trying to come up with a plan of spending as little money as possible that we're comfortable spending, so that we can have the ultimate amount of money left over at the end of the month to pay on debt. So the budget that I had come up with a little while ago, I think when I was going through our bills and trying to figure everything out, was, like I said, it totaled to be $1,081. That gives us $250 for gas money each month for the cars, $200 for groceries, $60 for formula, $25 for diapers, $15 for wipes, $6 for the Diaper Genie liners, $50 for toiletries, $50 for dog food and dog treats and dog toys, $25 miscellaneous, and then $400 spending money, which we divide amongst ourselves, so each of us gets $200 a month to spend however we want. That's eating out or shopping or anything like that. If any of that needs to be changed throughout the month, what I do is just subtract from any leftover money that we might be left with. Like if we were to be left over with the $500 that I was planning on us having, I would just kind of take from it, and we would have a little bit less money to pay on debt if we had to do that. And the next month, I would just try to kind of alter that budget so that it actually does fit what we need. If I find that I'm overspending just for no good reason, then I will just try to make more sacrifices the next month. But each month we are, actively and purposefully trying to make these budgets work. Now I'm going to share all of this with my husband, which is typically what we would do, or what I would do after I finish these calculations, and then we will just kind of go from there.
Where's our money? That's all I care about. What we get.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if I need to introduce you or not.
They know fine. If you don't, watch
But
the videos.
I've thought about not introducing us and just showing us going over our bills together. When
You got something there.
what?
I don't know, a little black mark. I got it.
Why would there be a black mark
I don't know.
on
How
my
you did
face?
your makeup, not me.
I didn't put a black mark on my face. All these numbers are mixed up. That's what I got paid,
Okay.
and I did get my BHI check.
Yep, saw that.
So July will probably be the month that it messes up.
Yeah.
So that totaled this number, but that's not important. So the number that's in our account is $27.69, and I went ahead and added your check in to estimate,
Okay.
which gave us a total of $38.69.
Okay.
And then I subtracted all of our bills for the first half of the month.
To the 15th?
Well, through the 20th, because you don't get paid again until the 20th.
Okay.
But I did not count this Navy Federal payment and my student loans. I'm going to wait till the 20th to pay those.
This Navy Federal payment is wrote in?
The $263.
Okay.
That one, it's not showing a payment due. Still,
I'm sure
I checked
it
on
will
it.
be.
I know. I checked on it a few days ago and it said it wasn't, and I checked on it again today and it said it
I
wasn't.
can't keep up.
And it says it says
Gosh.
$0 amount due on July 17th. So I'm wondering if it will not post a minimum payment. So I didn't account for a minimum payment.
Okay.
So on the 20th, we will still have to pay these student loans and this Navy Federal card.
Okay.
Okay. So
Well, hold on. Where's my check accounted for? Is it before the 20th or is it before then? You said you counted $1,100.
that's this one.
Okay, on the 6th.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so with all of those bills minus, which I went ahead and did $90. Well, I took the whole $360 out, except I accounted for paying the daycare $270.
Yes.
and then Sheila 90. And I accounted for the babysitter now so that we could afford to pay the daycare if they need their money up front.
Okay.
All of these, except for those 2 bills that I said, left us with 1131.07,
Okay.
which seems high to me. So out of that would come our budget, which is 1081, because that's what this was. That's what we're supposed to go by, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1081. So that leaves us with enough money to cover our budget for the month.
Okay.
So then I went through the end of the month and I accounted for. By the way, I counted your paycheck being $1,100 both times,
Mm-hmm.
plus our rent
Hopefully
check.
it'll be a little more than that.
Hopefully it'll be at least that.
Yeah.
So the rent check plus 1,100 minus the student loans,
Yes.
the Navy Federal, and the rest of these, and I estimated $125 for that electric bill.
It's probably gonna be a little higher than that, so we've had it for a whole month now. And it's been hot.
It was like $115 last time, so I just.
Okay.
Okay, so that left us with $878. So initially I said we should have like $500 left over each month,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if that's a little higher because I didn't account for that Navy Federal bill.
Yeah, that's probably about 200.
So that's what I come up with, which means if that's accurate, we would have $878. What's the difference between this and 1081? Like $50?
Yeah.
So $50 plus $878 would be what we could pay on our medical bills this month, if that's what we want to do with it.
Okay. What do we
But-
budget ourselves?
1081.
No, ourselves. I mean,
Oh, just the 200 each.
for the whole month?
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
It was last month.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we have to be like, have to make a sacrifice.
Let's just sacrifice the bills. We'll pay them.
We do have to get oil changes, and then I also wanted to go online and order baby pictures. That's why I put that there. But we need to.
Go down the budget anywhere.
No,
Okay.
that's just like if
Do
we
we know how
have
much
some
it
extra
is?
money. Pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, no more than $50, but probably not even that much. I'm just going to order 2 sets of 4x6s. $200 for groceries is probably a little short. But I feel like we can.
Eat groceries at home. So.
I feel like we could do it if we need. Well, see, I need to up my grocery budget in order to lower our spending budget. That way, we have the food to eat at home if we want it. Well,
Yeah.
if we have to eat at home, at least we have food we want. I did $25 miscellaneous,
I see.
which to me feels like a waste of money, but I feel like we always end up needing that too.
Yeah, for like usually stupid stuff.
Eat
Like,
now.
I don't know,
Oh.
$25.
Do you feel like that sounds accurate to you? Why, what? It sounded like it was.
What? Yeah, it seems
We
pretty accurate.
didn't seem to have. Sometimes we don't seem to have any money. Sometimes I sit down and write this stuff up, and we have tons of money, and then we never have that money at the end of the month.
It's because the last paycheck I made was $1,700. We didn't expect to make that much.
I didn't feel like we held on to as much of it as we should have. I feel like we still
started
spent
using
more than we
credit
should
card instead
have.
of using our real money. That's why.
If we have the $800 left over, we want to put it towards the medical bills.
What do we still owe on medical bills? Like 30.
Like
What?
it was $4,300.
Oh, we gotta pay. Did you ever pay the pediatrician?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So we need to get oil changes this month, right?
We needed to get oil changes 2 months ago. But, yeah.
We have to get them this month, don't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to stick to the 1081 for our budgets.
We're gonna try to.
If you want to spend any more, if you want to have any more spending money, you have to double it
No.
for both of us. So like if you wanted just $100 more, it would be $200 more, which is going to come out of that $878.
Yeah, I'm fine with 1081. I think it's alright.
So just take out $200 spending money.
Yeah.
Last month it did work up until like the 15th.
That's only half a month, dear.
We'll take your lunch for half a month.
Yeah. You.
I still feel like $200 is a lot more money than we should be spending on just frivolous things. But it's hard to cut. But it's hard to cut back.
Yeah. Especially.
I don't even know how long that's been off.
What's been on?
It just clicked off for a second.
Oh.
It does that sometimes. Anyways, that part wasn't important, so I guess we'll just edit that out if we have to.
It's already edited out.
That is going to be our budget for this month, and that is going to complete this video. So I do hope to come back and share with you how this is going throughout the month. I'll probably try to check in either towards the middle of the month or towards the end of the month. Probably right around the 20th to kind of let you know how things are going. Because of filming these videos in that manner, this may be more of a debt series than the actual debt series that I started. So stay tuned for these videos if you're interested in seeing what our budgets look like each month. And then on the debt series, I'll probably just continue updates for that series so that people can be updated on the debt itself. I do want to give ourselves a little bit of credit. We had a $367 balance at our baby's pediatrician's office that was due ever since the insurance went through on that, and we just paid that in full at the end of June. We had some money left over at the end of June, so we did actually pay that off in full. So that was another debt that we have paid off, so that makes me really happy. Anyways, I will keep you updated through my debt diary series and through this new series that I want to start here on my channel, which is this budget with me. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment below and I will be interacting with you down there. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you think $200 each is too much spending money for us, or how much money you use for spending money. And when I say spending money, I mean just frivolous spending money, like going out to eat, shopping, buying things here and there, pocket change, things like that. Please let me know about that in the comments, and I will talk to you about that there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.